Welcome back to Sports Talk with Dad. As always, my name is Kyle, and I cannot call this Sports Talk with Dad without the man sitting next to me, a man so old, I'm assuming he was around before the sun existed, my dad, Tim.
I don't think anybody's that old.
Okay, you're that Irish that your skin does not react well to the sun.
That's anyone that comes from Ireland doesn't react well to the sun.
It is very, very true. We already talked about going out golfing, but then I went out again and got very, very burnt to the point of getting blisters on my arms. Wear sunscreen, folks. That is my one suggestion.
Okay. For one thing, you went out on one of the hottest days I've ever seen in Wisconsin. You're an idiot.
I had it scheduled for a month.
And
what do you want me to do?
And for not wearing sunscreen, knowing how hot it was going to be.
And I played great, by the way.
For not wearing sunscreen, it takes away any good golf you had. You're an idiot.
Think it does.
It does.
I hit the ball consistently 275 through the air. I would consistently get out in 2 and off in 5. Still can't putt.
Okay.
But for you, you were out for just a little bit, and you looked like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, well, I went and played golf yesterday afternoon. You didn't know that, but I went and snuck in 9 holes.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How'd you play?
Surprisingly well.
Thanks for the invite, by the way.
I knew you were busy.
That's fair.
You had something going on last night, some kid stuff.
Yeah.
So I went out and went over to our favorite course and snuck in 9.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm worried about it because I'm hitting the ball really straight with my driver. I have nothing from driver to my 4 hybrid, which, by the way, I've gone to all hybrids down to the 8-iron.
Officially an old man.
If Red Couples can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I've given up on the 8 hybrid. I'm playing with an 8-iron. Other than that, I can't hit irons well enough, so I play with hybrids.
I'm struggling with long irons. Yeah, my driver I'm hitting really, really well. I can hit my 3-wood well off the tee, but that's about it. When it comes to the 4 or 5, I've never played with the 4 or 5 before. This is my first time playing with those clubs, and I am struggling on how to hit those. I think it's just placement more than anything.
Look, I'm hitting my driver 230, 240, and then I'll roll out to wherever that ends up. I haven't done that. I haven't hit my drivers that well for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where it came from, but I'm glad it's back, and I hope it stays.
I'm glad it's back, too.
But it's golf.
Golf is a miserable, miserable sport that is a lot of fun to play when you play it well.
I heard something that was very sad. Looks like Steve Stricker is not going to play the rest of this year on the Champions Tour.
Well, he's got to be getting close to retirement with the way his back's been acting up.
He looked like he was in pain. I mean, I noticed watching the American Family Championship, he was hurting.
Yeah, it happened to Jordan Spieth, too. Jordan Spieth had to withdraw from the Travelers because his back started to tense up, and the back is a very, very dangerous injury, as you know very well, because it's back and feet. When those start acting up, you're pretty much done.
Well, and I wonder about the guys on the regular tour, and they're actually turning and really leaning in sideways to crank the ball. I don't know how their backs hold up doing that once, yet alone as much as they do it.
They won't forever.
Dustin Johnson does it. Rory McIlroy does it.
Speaking of guys, I don't know how long they've lasted. Aaron Rodgers came out today and said this may be his last season. Probably, is his exact words, will be his final season.
Unless the Steelers have a really good year.
No, I think he's done after this. I really do. This is a 1-year contract. I think we're seeing the final ride. Listen, this year he gets to play the Jets and the Packers. He's never faced the Packers before. This will be his first time playing against them with a chance to beat all 32 teams in the same way Favre did.
I'm hoping the Packers make sure that doesn't happen. As much as I love Aaron Rodgers, Love has to step up this year, and what a better statement game to have than beating Aaron Rodgers.
It's going to be interesting. I don't think we're going to see what we saw from the Jets, but I don't think we're going to see what we ever saw with the Packers. I think he's going to be a top 15 quarterback this year.
I don't think the Steelers have a lot of talent around them.
No.
There's a lot of freelancers in the wide receiver core, which he hates.
Yep.
Tomlin finds a way to win.
He does.
And he will be able to work with Rodgers. Everybody who's saying, well, Rodgers is going to be a diva, I don't think so. He respects Tomlin.
They'll make the playoffs this year, but I think that'll be about it.
I'm not sure they make it. At best, they're a 9-8, 10-17.
Tomlin's never missed the playoffs. I don't anticipate that's going to start this year, but I don't think they're going to do anything special by any means. It's a tough division that they have. The AFC North is arguably the toughest division in all of football.
Or the NFC North. It's the two Norths.
Well, I was going to transition. I was in the
go ahead.
process of doing this
Sorry,
wonderful, great radio transition that I've been working on, and it was solid, and then you showed up.
Sorry. Go ahead.
As I was saying, the AFC North is arguably one of the toughest divisions. The other one that's arguably the toughest division is the NFC North, and I wanted to ask you a question about the Packers. You see how smooth that was?
Really? That was what the transition I had to be quiet for?
Shut up. I hate you so much sometimes. I want to ask you about the question about the Packers because
Okay.
Mark Murphy is officially retired as of July 1st, right?
25th, I think. He's going to.
Is that at the stockholder meetings that they handed off?
I think at the shareholders meeting it'll be the handoff.
Okay, so July 25th, new guy takes over, Ed Policy. My question to you is, he made it very, very clear that they are not extending LaFleur or Gutekunst and that they are going to stay on the contracts they are. I think they both have 2 years left on their contracts. How short of a leash are these two on right now?
About as short a leash as Cooper is when we take him for a walk, which is real short.
That's fair.
Look, we've talked about this before. Right now, Gutekunst reports into the CEO, being Mark Murphy. LaFleur reports in only to the CEO, Mark Murphy, and Ron Ball, the guy, Russ Ball, excuse me, the contract guru, basically chief financial officer, also reports directly in.
Right.
That's something that's not been in any other team. Ed Policy is the son of Carmen Policy, who ran the 49ers for all those years successfully.
Yeah.
I don't know how many Super Bowls he won, but he was very successful.
4 or 5.
I don't think there's going to be a long leash. I think this is the year. They better do something.
I agree. I've been saying that for a long time. Listen, when Mark Murphy came in, it was a change of an era, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's when Mike Sherman was officially let go as GM and head coach, and they brought in Mike McCarthy, and why can't I think of our old GM's name? Ted Thompson. Thank you. I should say Ted Thompson was brought in. Ted Thompson brought in Mike McCarthy.
Which is the way it should be. General managers hire the coach. General managers kind of run the team, run the draft room. This one has been weird because I don't think Gutekunst and LaFleur have been on the same page all the time.
They haven't, and it's been clear from interviews that that's been the case, that they haven't been on the same page. And Mark Murphy seems to be okay with it. Mark Murphy wanted to be Jerry Jones for some reason all of a sudden and set it up that way.
In the last 5 years or so. And, you know, when LaFleur doesn't go to any of either the camp or the Senior Bowl or wherever they go to scout the players,
right,
it makes me wonder. It's basically Gutekunst going, here's your players, coach them.
Right.
And I think coaches should have some input, and LaFleur's been successful. He should have some input.
Well, it helps when the GM picks his guy. LaFleur was hired before Gutekunst was.
LaFleur was hired after one interview by Mark Murphy.
And nobody else was interviewed.
Right.
That was it. He fell in love with them. And listen, he's had some success, but I've said it several times on this show that in reality, the Packers have not made the playoffs the last 3 seasons because we've been the 7th seed. 7th seed didn't exist. We're not in the playoffs.
Correct.
We went 1-5, right? Yeah, 1-5 in the division last year, which you can't do.
No.
Against winning teams, we went 1-6.
It was not a good year. You can't lose to everybody in the division the way they did. I think Ed Policy is going to come in, and he's going to give them this year to prove themselves. Essentially what happened when Lindy Infante was the head coach, they hired Ron Wolf. Ron Wolf cleared house and brought in Holmgren and got Favre. The rest is history. I think
Got Reggie White.
Got Reggie White. Well, God got Reggie White. Thanks to Holmgren. Still one of the best stories ever.
Like Holmgren saying, "This is God. Come to the Packers."
Yes. Those who haven't heard the story, Reggie came for a visit. Holmgren then picked up the phone and said, "Reggie, God wants you in Green Bay.
Yes, I talked to him.
Yes.
God said come to Green Bay.
And that was it. Reggie was a Packer, plus a lot of extra money.
Well, I mean, he became the highest paid player in the history of the NFL at that time, including quarterbacks.
But getting back to the current team, I think Policy is going to want to hire his own general manager.
I think so too.
And I think I would be shocked if he likes the silo setup that they have. He's willing to deal with this year because when he takes over, it's the start of training camp.
Yep. I think this is the last year for LaFleur, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think this is the last year for Gutekunst. I also don't think it's a bad thing. Listen, Goody's had one good draft. That's really all he's had.
And was it good?
Well, I mean, we got 6 starters out of it. It was definitely good. He's made some good free agent signings that have helped us out a lot. But it's time. It is simply time to go in a different direction. We're stuck in this mode of just mediocrity. I feel like the Jeff Fisher Titans from back in the day. You had one good run, and then you've been 8-8 the rest of it.
Well, and I think that with the Packers, it's get to the playoffs and you never know what happens. Yeah. And that's been good enough under Goody. It hasn't been we're going to push all the chips in and go and get somebody that's going to put us over the top, make major moves. I guess getting McKinney was a major move.
It was.
Which was a good move at the time.
You got the Smith brothers back in the day. I mean, he's made a couple of splash. Josh Jacobs, he went and got. So he's had some good moves. It's, again, he hasn't been able to pick his own coach. And it's really hard to design a team for a system I don't think you fully agree with. Like, I'm going to pick the best players, but they're probably not best for the system. And a coach and a GM have to be aligned for that to happen. They're not. That needs to be fixed. And I think Ed Policy is going to fix it one way or the other.
I do as well. It's a messy setup the way they have it now. But that being said, Mark Murphy's also had some really good moves in his time in Green Bay. Look what he did with Titletown. Look what they did with the renovations of Lambeau Field. They made it a showcase that really is going to guarantee that the Packers are going to be financially competitive for a long, long time. He really got the financial house in order, and the things like Titletown, which if you haven't been to Green Bay, you need to go and see it because this is a destination. I know a lot of people did it with the draft, and I guess that's the jewel on his crown.
It is.
The draft was successful.
Never going to happen again.
As a Packer organization, it was very successful. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I don't know if Green Bay made any money at all.
They didn't, but that's the hotel's fault.
Could be. I mean, a lot of people came in. A lot of money flowed through Lambeau Field.
The state won. The state made a lot of money. The hotels thought they could get away with charging 50 times their normal prices. And there were open hotels in Green Bay the night of the draft because people just stayed elsewhere.
Which is really blows me away that there was.
I mean, if you're charging $500 a night for a room in Green Bay when the going rate is normally $150.
I heard some of them were charging $1,500 a night.
That's insane. Yeah. Nobody's going to pay that.
Well, they price themselves out of the market, but
right when you can go to Appleton and pay $150 for the night.
I think the other crowning glory of the Murphy era was, of course, Super Bowl 45.
Yes,
but that was almost 15 years ago now. 14.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and it's not easy to win a Super Bowl. They had a couple chances during the McCarthy era to do it. They certainly had chances. When LaFleur was there, they didn't get there because of, I think, some atrocious coaching moves during those games.
Aaron Rodgers has been to 5 or 6 NFC championships as the Packers quarterback, and we made it to one Super Bowl. And to be fair, he won that Super Bowl. 2014 hurt. That was a year we definitely had a chance to win.
I mean, Tampa Bay turned the ball over 3 times. And the Packers didn't score on any of them. It was 3 and out on almost every one of them.
It was bad coaching.
Couple times Rodgers, I mean, there was one play in particular everybody talks about. He could have ran for 40 yards.
Right.
And instead he just sat in back and
Listen,
waited.
If you look at what should have been when it came to the Packers, because 2008, it was a mistake. 2014, it was a mistake. There were a bunch of different mistakes. It should have been the Packers and the Patriots facing each other in the Super Bowl probably 5 times. In the Brady era.
I would have taken twice.
I mean,
certainly in 14 they should have.
certainly in 14. But 14, 2008 was another one. We should have beaten the Giants in that game. There was another situation where we were in the NFC Championship where we would have faced the Patriots.
Brett got cold in 2008.
Well, Brady Papinga, instead of falling on the ball, thought he should run for a touchdown and then lost the ball. And that led the Giants score, which led to overtime. And I don't want to talk about
I remember the Seattle last 2 minutes. I had a Bear fan feeling
Stop talking
bad for
about
me.
it. That ended the McCarthy-Rodgers era right
did.
there. It completely ended the McCarthy-Rodgers era. But Mark Murphy had a really good run as the Packers president. I'm excited to see what Ed policy, but I think the first thing that's going to be done is you're going to see a coach and GM change within the year.
I think it'll go through. I think they'll play out this year unless it's a disaster, and I don't see it being a disaster. Jordan Love has to step up.
Yeah, Matthew Golden has been looking great. He and Love seem to be on the same page because Watson's not in there. He is the true number one, and him wearing number 22, still don't understand, and it's still throwing me off.
Why? Nobody.
Because wide receivers don't wear 22.
No, they're usually in the 80s, but
They're usually in the 80s or the teens or the single digits. I didn't know wide receivers could wear 20s all of a sudden.
you can wear anything.
When's the
apparently.
last time you've seen a wide receiver wear a number in the 20s?
Charlie Joyner for the San Diego Chargers for 21. I don't know why I remember that, but I do.
There you go. How long ago was that?
In the 80s.
So you were in your 50s or 60s?
Just because I nailed you earlier in the show doesn't mean you have to come back.
It
That
does,
hurt.
though.
That hurts.
It does. 80s, what would you have been? 20s?
Yeah.
In the 80s?
I was, when I turned 18, I was in high school, so like 79 or 80 when I turned 18, when you could still drink at 18. I didn't.
It was
because-
just beer bars, though, right?
No, I could drink anything.
When did beer bars become a thing?
Oh, that was back in the, I think my brother, your uncle, there were beer bars back in the 60s.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, if I'm remembering that. If you
But
remember.
didn't they have a time, though, where you could buy beer at 18 but not hard liquor?
Yeah, there was an era with beer bars on college campuses and whatever.
I thought that was before the drinking age had been changed. But you're
No.
telling me in the 80s you could buy... Okay, I got my
Yeah.
time mixed up.
When I was in high school, I turned 18 and I could buy a drink wherever I wanted. I didn't because I experimented when I was 17 and I
Yeah.
didn't drink for 2 years after that.
It's not as fun once it's legal, right?
I couldn't even smell a cap. I didn't want anything. I, to this day, cannot drink brown liquor because of what happened when I was 17. If anybody in the audience remembers when there was such a thing as beer bars, put it in the comments because I'm thinking it was in the 60s, but I can't remember myself.
I know people have talked about them.
Yes,
I've heard the term beer bars before.
a lot on college campuses. And I think
And
that's
I thought
why.
that was before the drinking age was raised.
No,
Clearly not. Because
No.
when was the drinking age raised to 21? I know Wisconsin was the last state.
after me. So it had to be the early 80s.
Okay. Was it that long ago?
Yeah, because when I was 18 and like I said, 79, 80, it was 18. The hard part was then when they changed it to 21, it was after I turned 21 because I was not in the group where it was 18. Now it's 21. These guys could drink, but now can't.
So that was a thing. Like you weren't grandfathered in.
Can't remember. Honestly, I don't remember if they grandfathered them in. I don't think they did. I think they just said, look, it's 21.
Because they just did that with cigarettes. And I don't know how that went either. But from my understanding, it was just, hey, it was 18. So if you were an 18-year-old and
I
bought
think
cigarettes
that's what
one
it was.
day, the next day you couldn't.
Yeah. Now, I don't remember if it was, I think if you turned 18 before the law changed, they were going to let you finish it out and you could drink. But anybody before then, yes, I know it was that way because if your birthday was a day before, you're out of luck. If
Really?
it was a birthday after, you could drink and they just grandfathered you in. That's why the signs are always up. If you turn 18 before,
Got it.
so
Huh.
it was an interesting time because I was in high school and yet I was able to drink.
Well, and that's why they changed it.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that was the main reason behind it. They're like, we don't want alcohol in high schools anymore. It's the same thing with cigarettes. I know that's why they changed it.
I have a huge problem with the fact that, okay, if you can go and fight in a war,
Military should
in the
be a
military,
different ballgame.
you should, with a military ID, you should be able to have a beer
Listen,
or
I've,
whatever.
I've never seen a bar turn down somebody with military ID.
Nor have I.
I've never once seen it. If you're in uniform, you're getting to drink. Like, you're going and fighting for your country, you should be able to go and have a beer. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree.
But on to something else we want to talk about. Man, that was a random tangent that went on for a while. We were talking about...
That's why we have a squirrel on the wall.
It was a Frenchie moment. It's our show. But you sent me an article, an ESPN article, talking about the top 20 uniforms of all time. Let me tell you something.
In baseball.
In baseball. Thank you. It's wrong. All of them.
Not all.
Every last one of them.
Not all of them.
It's a stupid list.
The Seattle Mariners that they've got listed here from 77 to 80.
Those are great.
They look a lot like the Seattle Pilots.
Yeah, because they basically were.
Correct. The Montreal Expos. Love their powder blues.
So let's start with 20 down. So 20 was the Seattle Mariners. Those are classic. They should be a lot higher. 19 was the purple and teal Arizona Diamondbacks uniforms from Randy Johnson World Series.
I like the vest look.
I love those uniforms.
Yeah,
Again,
great.
I think they're too low. The Expo Powder Blue is number 18. They're 80 to 91. Those are hideous.
No, that logo and that uniform, that's a classic. For one thing, they're button up. They were not just pullovers. They were great uniforms. Tim Raines.
ELB actually stands for something. We've talked about the show before. I don't remember what
I
it
thought
was.
it was just for the M for Montreal, but
no, it's not. It actually stands for something. But those are ugly.
no, they're not. They're great.
Number 17 is the 2021 City Connect Miami Marlins uniforms. Those should not be on this list.
No, they shouldn't.
Those are terrible. The 16 is the Rays.
No, the 16 are the Devil Rays.
Yeah.
They are horrible.
Those are also
They're
terrible uniforms.
pullovers.
Yeah.
With just Devil Rays on them. They're some of the worst uniforms that have ever been worn. The next one is
number 15.
That is classic.
These
it's a top 10. This is a top 10 uniform of all time, maybe a top 5.
It looks like somebody puked on the uniform. The 75 to 86 Houston Astros rainbow jerseys.
I love those jerseys.
It looks like somebody did what we've been talking about and drank some brown liquor and then puked on them.
No, this is the J.R. Richard Astros jerseys. One of the best ever. Love this uniform. Always have.
This is on every top 20 list, and so I've just accepted it. But these are the worst things I've ever seen.
No. You're wrong.
They're terrible.
The next one, I could make an argument, should have been number 1.
14 is the 72 to 83 yellow Oakland A's jerseys. I agree with you on this one. This is a top 10 uniform. I like the greens better.
I was going to say, they could have went with the greens, and it would have been fine. They could have went with the whites with the yellow pants, what they did occasionally.
It's the only cap where a team should have a different brim than an actual. Come on, the green top with the yellow brim.
These are perfect.
They're the only ones that should be able to have that, and they should have it permanently.
I hated the fact that they went away from the yellow brims on the A's.
I agree.
These are the Raleigh Fingers, Sal Bander, Reggie Jackson era uniforms. Outstanding.
I do like the greens better. I think the green should be on here instead, but it's proof. Just do white pants all the time.
They look really good.
They do. I also think this should be a top 10. Number 13 is the 83 to 90 New York Mets uniforms. This is a top 10 uniform.
I hate pullovers. If this would have been a button-up.
You love the 84 Cubs jerseys. Those are a pullover.
I've also said that I'd like them better if they were a button-up.
But you can't say you love one and hate the other.
This is the Mets. I can say anything I want.
I love the 83 to 90 Mets uniforms. This is this is a top 10 uniform. The stripe goes all the way. It connects from the uniform to the pants. It's perfect.
Plus, we're looking at Darryl Strawberry. This is the way stirrups are supposed to be worn, and I wish they'd come back with these.
Some people are.
Yes, but they're not the same. I mean, these guys used to spend time trying to get these perfectly straight and matching up with the stripe on your pants.
The number 12 is the 44 satin Brooklyn Dodgers. I don't know why these are in any list. They haven't been. This is a new thing.
Yes.
Like, people found out these existed, and now they have to be on top 10 lists. They look uncomfortable. They're not. They don't make sense on a baseball field.
Men should not wear shiny uniforms.
No, these are
bad.
These are terrible.
Somebody found these. I think you're right. I think baseball buried these, and somebody just randomly discovered them.
And they're like, we need to talk about these now.
No, we don't.
They
awful.
shouldn't be on any list. 11, I agree this should be on the list, is the current Padres home
Yeah,
jerseys.
I like these a lot.
These are great.
For Brown, for a team with brown as their main color,
Yeah.
this is as good as you
The
get.
helmet's great.
Yeah.
I love the yellow belt that goes with it. They need to bring back the swinging friar.
They do. I love the swinging friar. That is the Padres logo. It should be always be.
Can you name the religious order of the swinging friar?
Franciscan? I don't
It is
even
a
know.
Franciscan.
Is he?
Yes.
That was a guess.
Franciscans have the bald head on the top.
I was gonna say Augustins because of Leo, but
He's not an Augustine. That is a Franciscan
okay,
friar.
there you go.
But again, they got rid of it. Rid of something nobody had an issue with.
Nobody. When you go woke, you go broke, and baseball's in the process of doing that.
Padres means father, by the way. And the swinging friar was because, which is funny because he's a friar, not a priest, which is different. I'm not getting into it.
Please don't.
Number 10, the 72-78 Boston Red Sox.
I like the
pullovers.
hat.
I like the belt.
I like that's not a belt. Those are the old Sansa belt stretch, that button. There is no belt on this
You
uniform.
just said belt.
I said the hat.
You said
I like-
Sansa belt,
Yeah.
which has the word belt in it.
Yes, but they're not
It's a
really.
belt.
They're beltless pants. They're just stretchy.
Well, I don't like these anymore then.
But I like the hat.
I don't know why these are in the top 10.
I love Louis Tiant. The fact that, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I don't like the White Sox home uniforms. Number
9 is the 2021 City Connect Chicago White Sox uniforms. I think their actual home uniforms are better than
much
this.
better. Much the black. When they
I like
went-
these. These are the best Connect.
I
But it's
like
not a
Wrig-
top 10
I
uniform.
like Wrigleyville.
I do too. If they would have went with white pants, Wrigleyville would be an all-time classic.
If anybody went with white pants, these should have white pants.
These should also have white pants.
The White Sox, when they went to the black pinstripes with the socks at a diagonal,
Yeah, it looks
they're
great.
some of the best uniforms ever put
Stick
out.
with those.
Yes.
I don't agree with this being maybe it can be on the list, but again, their home uniforms are better than this.
Yes. They are much better.
Number 8.
I
dude.
like these.
I haven't seen the top 10 yet. The number 8,
I
the
love these.
77-84 yellow
These-
square cap.
These are 1 year. These are the We Are Family 79 Pittsburgh Pirates. He's got Stargell stars on the hat, which is a throwback to the pre-1900 days where you had stripes around your hat. This is classic. Again, they wore yellow with black pants sometimes.
I
There's
love
a-
the yellow with black pants. The hat's ridiculous.
I love the hat.
The hat is
I-
absolutely ridiculous.
I like the yellow hat with the black brim like Roberto Clemente had when
Yes.
the Pirate ones. But
Again,
I
different
don't-
cap. I'm starting
I-
to change my mind on
I
this.
don't mind these.
Teams need to go back because the Cubs used to have their road uniforms were the red brim and the blue hat. They
Mhm.
only wore those on the road, and they should go back to that.
I thought you said you didn't like two-tone hats.
The more I've seen the two-toned hats, the more I disagree with my original opinion because I thought about that, and the Cubs used to their homes were all blue,
Yep.
and then the roads
Were the
were the
red,
blue on top with the red brim.
and I like that hat.
And I always wanted the one with the red brim because I'm like, that looks cooler.
It's way better than the
And then you had a different home and road cap.
correct, just like the Brewers do, but we'll talk about them in a little while.
Are the Brewers on the list?
That's why we're going to talk about them in a little while.
All right. I
Okay.
like the uniforms. I hate the hats. Number 7, Chicago Cubs. I
Chicago,
don't know why they're choosing the 69 Cubs. Those are great.
they are, but these since '57, the
They don't
Cubs
have a
went,
date. Are they just saying Cubs?
no, the Cubs went to pinstripes in '57.
Oh.
And they've had it since then. These aren't my favorite ones, although I love the 69 Cubs. My favorite one still remains pretty much what they have now.
Yep.
And when they also wear the Cub with the C with the bear coming out of it.
The
That's
C
my
with the
favorite
Bear
ultimate.
came out in 98. And 98 is when I started following baseball and became a Cubs fan.
It's just a classic.
So I'm
jersey.
biased on the Blues.
Nah, I like that one.
But the Blues are my favorite Cubs jersey of all time.
As we discussed a little bit ago, I do love the 84. But the road uniforms had white pants and then the royal blue
Those are
pullovers.
ugly.
They are not as they'd be even better if they would have been button up.
Those
That's all
are
I'm saying.
ugly.
They are
The
not.
only thing worse is when they went to the Cub logo in the very early 90s. They only did it for like a year where the Cub leg had facial hair.
Oh God, that was awful.
That was the worst one. I didn't mind the Cub with the red circle. It's grown on me.
But I will say
I mean,
again,
that's a Mickey. The problem is the Cub with the red circle looks like Mickey Mouse.
it did. It does. I do like the leggings they have on here. Another version of them. This is something that should come back, and the long pants should go away forever. I hate guys who wear those.
That's the
long
Yankees
pants.
started that. I agree with you there. Number 6, St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know how this is in a top 5.
This should be like 2 or 3.
I mean, the Cardinals uniforms are perfect.
And now where they got the old style writing in
Yeah.
St. Louis, these are some of the best uniforms that have ever been made. I am not a Cardinals fan,
I'm not
but
either.
I give them credit for a great uniform, and that's Stan
The
Musial.
red and the white with the yellow bat and the Cardinals sitting on either side. It's literally perfect.
It is. In my mind, it'd be number 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming number 1 is the Yankees on this.
I don't agree with this one either.
Number 5, the 72-75 Atlanta Braves. I don't even know if I'd put this in uniforms as a top 10.
I certainly wouldn't. The best uniform the Braves have ever had is either the 57-58 Braves with the black tomahawk or the Greg Maddux ones where they had the red tomahawk. Those are the Braves' best uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, the 90s uniforms is definitely better than this. I agree with you, and it's a biased opinion because of my grandfather, but the Milwaukee Braves, I'll always have a soft spot because Grandpa was such a big fan of the Braves.
And they're one of the first ones that had the 2 colored hats with the M or
That's
the A.
right. They had the black and then the red brim. Okay, my opinion has officially changed. Baseball, you need to go back to a different colored brim for your hats.
I have won the argument.
You've won. Because even these look better. And again, the brim is a different color than the hat itself. I lose. You're absolutely right. Baseball, go back to the different colored brims.
This is a decent uniform.
They just put the Red Sox twice in the top 10.
Yes. So this is a completely biased ESPN
These are great.
article. These are great. Top 10.
Yeah.
But
maybe top 5. I mean, I don't mind this being at 4. The Red Sox have great uniforms.
They are.
And the 2004 uniforms
are better than the other ones.
Yeah.
With the exception of the red cap.
I don't agree with being able to have two. Like, you need to pick the best uniform of a team.
And move forward.
And that's your choice. It depends on the situation. Like, there's a couple of them maybe because the Braves have different iterations. So I wouldn't have mind saying, okay, here's the 75 Braves versus the 95 Braves because they're very different. This looks exactly the same for the most part.
Number 3 shouldn't even be on the list.
So they've had the Sox on the twice in the top 10 as well. This is dumb.
The 82 through the 86 White Sox, when they're essentially softball.
Is number 3?
They are softball jerseys. They had the Sox written out in the blue and red stripe.
Is that his number on the pants?
Yes. There's no room to put it on the front of the jerseys. These are just hideous. These are awful.
Who made this list?
These are worse than when they wore shorts.
You've had the Red Sox and the White Sox twice in the top 10.
They've got a Sox bias.
Apparently. These are awful.
And this shouldn't even be in the top 20. These are some of the worst uniforms ever made.
They've been known as some of the worst.
Yeah.
Like, I've lost people on the rainbow jerseys, but nobody disagrees that these are terrible. People are getting this nostalgia nonsense where we're thinking things that truly are ugly look cool.
Well, it's like the Devil Rays. They don't belong on this list either.
No, they're plain and
awful.
Two-toned. Come on. Number 2, the Yankees are number 2.
These are number 1. I mean, these are the best uniforms that have ever come out.
Yes. Yankees should not go two-toned hats.
No, they should not.
Yankees should stay black. Have they really?
They had one where they had a gray bill. Did not look good at all.
Yeah, Yankees can't do two-tone.
No, they're black.
You could do, on a random occasion, you could do a white top with a black brim with the black New York. It would still be ugly, but I'd accept it. You can never do the black with the white brim.
And you can never do...
I think I've seen the white with the black brim before, just as a hat you could buy.
They've had black with the gray brim. It's awful. But these are...
This being number 2, who's number 1? The Dodgers. Okay.
These are great.
Pick your poison.
These are number 2.
I agree, but this is a weird list.
And the reason,
at least they got 1 and 2 right.
They did. The reason I like the Dodgers and the Yankees, they've been the same since the beginning of their team.
They're perfect.
They are.
But the Cardinals should be 3.
Absolutely.
Because those are 3 perfect uniforms. The Cubs should be 4.
I'm not arguing it. And the
No,
Milwaukee
except
Brewers,
the pinstripes.
they're
They're not on this list
not on
anywhere.
here, but they should be. With the ball and glove is one of the best logos ever made.
I don't know how the 82 Brewers aren't on here.
They should be.
They're on every list.
Yes. I mean, that ball and glove logo, of the new logos that have been created, hands down the best.
Yes. It was the second highest selling hat behind the Yankees for many, many years.
Yeah.
This list is wrong. I agree with Dodgers, Yankees 1 and 2. I would reverse them.
I would reverse them.
I accept the Dodgers being 1 and the Yankees being 2. The Sox, these are terrible. It should be Cardinals 3. I think Cubs are 4.
I'd
The
have the
Red Sox should also be in the top 5.
I'd have the Braves with the Tomahawk in 4.
Where do you put the Red Sox? They still in the top 10?
The top 10,
Yeah.
yeah, but not top 5.
But 1, 2, 3 should be Dodgers, Yankees, Cardinals.
And I think the round out, just do your top 5.
My top, okay, Yankees 1,
Mhm.
Dodgers 2, Cardinals 3. Call me biased, and that's fair, but I do think the Cubs home jerseys are number 4. I like the Blues better, but Cubs home jerseys 4. Oh, man. That's where it gets hard.
Pick one.
Because I do like the 82 Brewers
Pick one.
a lot. I'm trying to think. Give me 2 seconds. I really don't know. Because here's where you get, okay, there's a lot of good choices out there. The Braves 90s jerseys are pure perfection. The 82 Brewers, I think, are very underrated for just a jersey in general. I won't pick the Pirates. I'm trying to go through teams in my head now. The Diamondback jerseys are awesome. They're a top 10.
The A's of the 70s.
The A's of the 70s, the Greens. I think that's honestly what I go with. If I am my 5, I think I go A's from the 70s, and then the Braves at 6, and then the Brewers at 7. That's my top 7.
Okay.
The greens, not the yellows, the greens.
Okay. I would go Yankees 1, Dodgers 2, Cardinals 3,
Yep.
Braves 4, Braves of the 90s,
Yep.
or Braves of the 50s. I don't care.
Okay.
White Sox 5,
The homes.
the homes.
Yeah.
The white pinstripe classic.
They would probably be my 8.
If we're doing top 7, then I'd have the A's at 6 with the yellow, because I really like the yellow. I always have. And then I'd have the Brewers 7. And
Where are you putting the Cubs?
Cubs 7's, Brewers 8.
You're bumping the Cubs out of the top 5.
Top 5.
Really?
Yeah. I love the Cubs uniforms, but the Sox are so classic.
Sox are great.
They're great. They're great. And I love the A's. Anything in the top 10 is great. Obviously, those are classic uniforms. That's why the White Sox that they chose should not be on this list.
Honestly, the Giambi A's jerseys are really good too, where they had Oakland across, the white pants, and the dark green. I love the Giambi A's ones too. There's a lot of good lists. You let us know what you think in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get to enjoy this show as much as we enjoy making it. I think we can all agree this ESPN list is garbage. But as you all know, you cannot have a conversation with your father without your dad getting the last word. So it is all you.
I'm actually surprised that he didn't bring this up. I'm actually wearing my owner's shareholders pullover, which we got at one of the shareholders meetings because we are. For those who don't understand the Packers, being an owner of the Packers, even though it means nothing, is just something to hang on to that makes you feel much closer to the team. And I think it's something other teams can never understand, because if you're a fan of the Cowboy, you know Jerry owns a team. If you're a Packer fan, you've got part of it, at least on a worthless piece of paper. So if you haven't been to Lambeau, if you didn't get up there for the draft, make the pilgrimage, because like going to Fenway or to Wrigley or the old Yankee Stadium when it was around, it's someplace you really have to see in your lifetime.
Thank you, as always, so much for watching. This has been Sports Talk with Dad. See you next time.
Bye, everybody.